Jack and I have been looking at old NCAA football video game covers, remembering the ones that we were still playing, the ones that we waited in line for. The Desmond Howard cover that Jack remembered waiting in line for was 06.
Yeah, NC 06. So it would have been in the fall of August or July of 05.
Of 05, yeah. And we were going back in time. By the way, the early 2000s ones, just the look of the cover gives me such nostalgia.
The Joey Harrington one especially.
Oh, man, yeah. Just like the way the EA Sports logo looks. So, okay, I was thinking about this. What this game is going to mean for the generations of, like, fans that will play it. Because I'm guessing, Jack, first of all, let me ask you, are you going to play this game?
I probably. Well,
do you have a PS5?
I have an Xbox. Well, my son has an Xbox One that he left at my house. With?
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Xbox One won't run it. You need a Series.
Is that
X.
for sure?
Yes, you need a Series X.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to get a next generation.
So are you gonna
console.
do that? Are you gonna buy a next generation console?
I'll want to.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say I'll want to.
So because
you can get the Series S, it's cheaper.
Ultimately, my question is like your generation, Gen X. My generation, millennials, we are the last generation that truly like remembers the video games coming out as they were. I guess maybe someone who is, I guess someone's Nick's age
my age
would have remembered it.
My friends played these games all the time.
So we remember the games coming out. I'm very interested to see what this is going to mean for the variety of generations that have like all sorts of nostalgia for this, because someone Nick's age and he's 26. Like, they could have played multiple iterations, but someone like you, someone like me, we had like decade-long runs with these games being like a cultural touchstone for us every summer.
Well, like, seriously, I have all the covers all the way back to the original. The original was Bill Walsh's College Football 94. I played that on Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
All the time.
So think about that. You had two decades worth of this video
I played
game.
this one, and the last time that I played as like the main consumer of it was probably the last time I bought it was probably this one,
summer of 05.
So that's 11 years
of playing the video game.
And then about 2 years later, 2 or 3 years later, as my son got older, we had an old PS2, and so I bought the old games.
Yeah.
So I went back and bought the Ricky Williams version. And isn't there a Ricky? There's a Texas one, right?
Yeah, it was a little later, actually.
Okay, yeah, we had the one that had Texas on it.
Yeah.
So the game was old by that point, but we played it. So yeah, I pretty much played it with only small stops from 1995 to 20 until my son was too old to care to do that, or till PS2 broke.
Yeah,
like 2014, maybe.
I'm kind of
almost 20 years,
because I will not be participating in this discourse. I will not be playing it. I will not be buying a system. First of all, I don't have the system. I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars.
I know that's
on something that I would barely play.
Right.
And especially not for one video game. So like I stopped playing it long before it disappeared, for lack of a better word. I stopped playing it in like the 07, 08 range, early college. Essentially, once it got onto PS3 and beyond, I had a PS3. I never liked the gameplay on the PS3, so I stopped playing it. I liked it better on the PS2. Such an old thing to say, but for the record, I was like 21 when I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, though, like the current iteration of the sport, like I saw this joking tweet from Stuart Mandel yesterday, dripping with sarcasm, where the dynasty mode should have like your best player gets a better NIL deal and leaves, your conference fails to get a new TV deal and implodes, et cetera, et cetera. But it did make me wonder what they will include from current college football and what they will decide to leave on the cutting room floor. Like someone asked me yesterday, do you think they'll have the 12-team playoff? Like, of course they will. That's like
oh, sure.
You have to have it. It's the postseason structure.
Yeah.
You have to have the basics of the sport, and that is a basic of the sport.
I think part of the reason it did take so long and kept getting delayed was because the climate of college football in general just kept changing so quickly that they had to figure out how to implement these changes into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Of course. I bet, all that stuff that he asks rhetorically, I think they will have. In fact, didn't they have
conferences won't implode on the video game, but they'll have to have.
I think they had stuff in some of the versions. You could switch around some of that stuff anyway. So
I did.
You could do realignment.
I went to. One of my things one year was I wanted to make Utah good because I liked the Alex Smith Utah team. I made them so good that they kicked Kansas out of the Big 12 and added Utah into the Big 12.
Yes,
so
that you could do. So they'll definitely have it now if they had it.
Yeah. They'll and you remember like at the mid-aughts as recruiting got massive, they incorporated that into the game because and I loved recruiting. My favorite.
Oh,
I still remember my best class ever, Nick. 18 players, 14 5-stars.
Wow.
I was whooping ass at Nebraska.
My buddy and I, when I was in law school, we were roommates, and we didn't have a lot of money. But right when the one came out, when it was on both PS1 and PS2, like one of the last years it came out on PS1, we didn't have any video game system, but we wanted to play the game. So we went to one of those used video game places and we bought an old PS1 because the game still was coming out for PS1. And so we had that and we would play. And this is so dorky, but we would make sure everyone's games were played up to a season. About once every, right when it hit on the weekend, we would get to recruiting night, right? And we would have recruiting night where you would do the off. It took a while. It would take.
It did. You could simulate it. I never simulated.
If there were two people, you would take
hours.
You could take like 4 hours to do it. So
I got to a point where I liked recruiting more than the season.
We would be like Friday night, 9 o'clock recruiting night starts. We're getting some drinks, we're getting some pizza.
That's amazing.
And we're staying up all night and doing recruiting. And then we have our
recruiting night.
Team. Yeah.
I want to have these experiences. Just from growing up, we had these games. I had friends that played these games. I've played these games. But I had such football blindness as a child because I was more into NASCAR.
Mr. Casey.
Not because of Mr. Casey, but I played the NASCAR games. So whenever I'd play Madden or NCAA at a friend's house, I didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was playing Madden or I was just playing a football game, and I enjoyed it. But I never got the chance to dive deep into it.
Right.
I plan on doing that with this game. And I don't know which schools are going to be included, but I love the idea of...
Isn't it all of them, right?
Well... I want like you and I to be in there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. They're not an FBS.
They always remember the FCS schools' names were always like direction. It was like a directional school.
If they were on your schedule.
It was like Southeastern University.
I do remember that.
They were fake schools.
I don't know because I heard in the development of this they were adding more schools from lower conferences. I don't know how.
Oh, then maybe then
maybe they will.
By the way, I love the idea of just turning a small school like you and I into a powerhouse.
Okay,
I want to do that.
Couple of things, Josh. Number one, it is coming out on. It might be coming out on PC, according to what I'm reading here.
Cool.
So you don't have to buy a new console for that.
Your laptop won't run it.
Yeah.
Oh, his computer's
it
super
probably
fast.
won't come out on Mac.
I mean, it's better than your crap, but it's definitely not powerful enough.
There's
to
probably not a Mac version.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
You just
CJ writes, I'm 35 and literally bought a PS5 just for the new college football game. I haven't played it or even downloaded the free Spider-Man 2 game it came with. I can't wait for this game.
Oh, so you haven't played current gen sports games, have you, Josh? I assume.
Dude, I don't remember the last video game I played. It probably was Modern Warfare 2.
And I probably wouldn't have either if I didn't have a son who was a teenager, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess we have a Switch, so I'll play Mario Kart.
Okay, but you haven't played a modern gen like Madden or anything like that.
I'd probably suck now.
Here's the thing, and this is going to be me sounding like an old, but I think you might be with me on this. If you saw all of the game modes now, like they are, Nick might be better to talk a little about this. I was just talking, I was being an old here. You played like modern generation Madden.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I play Madden frequently.
The game modes now, all this crap with like buying cards.
Yeah, the microtransaction. It's
I hear about this.
And NBA one is the same way. And I just want, I want a dynasty, right? I want a
recruiting
season.
night.
I want dynasty. I don't want it. I want it somewhat complex, but not too complex.
The Madden games do thankfully have that. You have the ultimate team is the one where you can like buy cards and do the microtransactions. And MLB The Show does that too. It's so frustrating. But then they just do have the classic franchise modes where you can go in, you can do owner modes, you can do coach modes.
There's so many modes. I don't even know if I'm on the right one.
Yeah. All right. We can maybe pick this up in a little bit because we do have to go to Kent.
Okay.
But I'm out on the microtrends.
Microtransactions are dumb.
Yeah,
but it is just kind of where we are.
Yeah. I just want. It's just like remember Heisman mode. I hated Heisman mode. I never participated.
Nope.
Dynasty mode for your boy.
Dynasty.
Because then you can have recruiting.
All I want is single game, online mode, dynasty mode. Those are the three things I want. Oh, online. Mascot mode, of course.
Of course. I want to.
Yes.
I want Pop-Tart Bowl mode where it's just the Pop-Tarts. I want just like you and I, just a small dinky school that I can make big, and I want to be able to create my own school and franchise. I think that would be fun too.
I enjoyed creating schools.
Yeah, you can do that. Yep.
All right, when we return, it's time to talk about Asteroid City. Jack watched some of it. How much? We have no idea.
Lots. Most.
He didn't see the naked lady, so we know that part. We'll talk about this movie. Nick will do his best to explain it.
I sure will.
All right, we'll do that when we return with Kent Walgamon of the Lincoln Journal-Star in another edition.